Okay, so what's your take on the feminist movement?
It's more of an empowerment of women, and it's kind of an extraction of men, and it's a movement for too much independence, really.
Okay. Do you think the feminist movement hurt the black household or helped the black household?
I think it murdered the black household.
The rapid rate of homosexuality, especially in Atlanta, and we got it here too. The rise is on the rise. Do you feel homosexuals have?
So one of the things we were talking about was the feminist movement. Are you familiar with the feminist movement?
Very much so.
Okay, so what's your take on the feminist movement?
Which feminist movement? Are we talking about the feminist movement that's spearheaded by white women that does not include black women until they need us?
Look the camera in the eye.
Okay.
I want to say that I am proud of you, brother, because I see that you are starting and beginning to read other books besides the Bible. You talked about Shahrazad Ali book over there when we was talking about to another sister. You talked about another book. It's good that you are beginning to expand your knowledge, and you know that in order to know certain things that you got to sometime go outside the Bible, pick up another book and read it, brother. So that's good, and I don't need no response. Thank you. Come on in, Queen.
2, we're going to have Captain Tazariak and his crew come up and give us some insights on what projects they got going. I just rode up on my bike. They're on Malcolm X Boulevard teaching and giving advice. And this is how we just walk right up. Again,
Why he's teaching.
and we're here in the community. Again, brother, Captain Tazariak, working with the community. He's now, I'm cramping your style. No, go, finish. Excellent. So we will be interviewing him momentarily. Again, folks, if you come to Harlem, this is what you will see. I want to give him space. Hold on.
Miseducation of the black.
Okay.
So the first. Okay. So the first question I would like to ask you is, when it comes to, are you familiar with the feminist movement?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, so what's your take on the feminist movement?
It's more of an empowerment of women, and it's kind of an extraction of men, and it's a movement for too much independence, really.
Okay, so now, do you think, for black women, do you think the feminist movement hurt the black household or helped the black household?
I think it murdered the black household.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So now, and then my second question is, and this is my final question, I don't want to hold you up too long. When you think about this recent presidential election, right? So now you had this type of white man that's probably the most vulgar type of white man you could ever imagine running for the president of the United States. And then you had a white woman who should be the standing point for the feminist movement. So my question is, with those two different paradigms, why do you think it is that more white women voted for the president man as opposed to the woman when they could have made their feminist stance?
It's kind of the reverse of black women. They've been taught to be docile and subservient to their men, and so that's what they do. I don't think they would have been able to handle a black man as president and then a white woman. It's just that inner stereotype that they have themselves, that they should have hated and completely rejected Trump, but they're a little loopy too.
Do you think that they preferred the man being in power? Meaning, like, when you think about the feminist movement for white women, they're not really trying to subvert the white man from his power. They just want some of the power, but they still want him in power. But as opposed to when they talk about the black woman being feminist or independent, as you said, it removes the man.
Right.
So do you think that they understand that they still need the man in power, they just want to be more respected, as opposed to they teach black women to get the man out of the house?
Hit the question one more time.
Do you think that white women voted for Trump because they understood that they needed the white man to be in power? That's where their power comes from, as opposed to with what they teach black women about black men, that the black man cannot have that power.
Right.
Like they essentially, they understand that without a man being an authority, they fail.
Right.
But they
understand
teach
their role.
right. But they teach black women that you don't need the man in authority, and then we still fail. That's why we're doing this lecture.
And I'm from Atlanta, so I have to say this. There's a ridiculous number of us who are just completely educated, independent, still single, and the men there really expect you to take care of them.
And they will be leaving their phone numbers at that office.
So I hear you say you're from Atlanta.
I am.
The rapid rate of homosexuality, especially in Atlanta, and we got it here too. The rise is on the rise. And what's the problem you have with homosexuality, if you have any?
I don't have a problem with it. As a teacher, I actually understand how many of them got that way, and it has a lot to do with the fact that they don't have any male role models. They don't have it. They don't see it. So it's easier for them to do what they've seen done than to create this image of something they don't even understand. So if my mom's a hairdresser and I see this as I go shopping, that's what I'm gonna do. And my dad's gone.
So when you say, real quick, so when you say you see how they got this way, can you give us an example?
The role model. You need a role model. A lot of them, even the females, definitely the females need role models because there has that homosexuality thing there too. It's easier for them as females to be homosexual because the males are having too much pressure placed on them. It's all about sex. So I've seen a lot of students girls who say they want to be gay because they don't want that pressure.
Right. And then what you said as far as the role models, I think that's the most important part. Now, first of all, what I do want to say is that I'll be in Atlanta in the coming months to address the homosexuality down in Atlanta. Somewhere in Atlanta, Officer Rock Desire, we got a school down there. Yeah, we coming down to Atlanta, maybe in May or June, we'll be in Atlanta. But what she said was heavy as far as the role models. Like a child emulates what he sees. So if he doesn't see the father and only sees the mother, who does he emulate? He emulates the mother. And that's what they've decided to do since they started the feminist movement in the 70s. In the 70s, when they started the feminist movement, there was a white woman, Gloria Steinem. She's the poster child for feminist movement. And what she did was she had a magazine called the Women Us or Women We magazine. She put in that magazine a book called The Macho Man and the Myth of the Superwoman that was written by a black woman, so-called.
Was it Alice Walker?
No, it was written by a black woman, Michelle. You made me forget the damn name now. Michelle Wallace, I believe, was the sister's name. And she was a 20-year-old woman that wrote this book, and they was like, how did she get into this position? And in that book, it said that you don't need the black man. And in that book, there's a black woman saying this. She said Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth were traitors to black women because they submitted to a black man. Now, when you think about what Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth did with those black men, they freed slaves. And even Harriet Tubman said she'd have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. This is what she did, and this black woman is calling her weak. Well, lo and behold, what did they find out?
She was an agent.
Not only was she an agent, she didn't even write the book. The white woman, Gloria Steinem, wrote the book, smacked the black woman's face on there, and since that moment, all you've seen when they want to talk about or uplift black women from a media perspective, where's the black man? And he's nowhere. And what does that teach our black women? That's why we're calling this the miseducation of the black woman, because what they've taught black women to do is to not have the black man around. And by not having the black man around, that's why you have so many feminine men, because they don't have that role model that could teach them to be a man. That's why you have the daughters, like how she said, the sisters don't want a man because they ain't seen a man. The men ain't had nobody properly raise them and train them. So what do we now have to do is re-educate ourselves with proper education so that the black household can become one and become unified. So I appreciate you, sister.
Hold on. Don't let it go real quick. Real quick.
It's kind of like, my first reason would be, why are they like that? And what happened? Because you're right, the molestation you're talking about, the people who were locked up and spent 20 years in prison for the whole crack, cocaine, whole thing, they're out now. And they're coming home, and their kids at home. And you got to be realistic about what's going on. There is some molestation, a lot of it in the community. I shouldn't have girls in the 11th grade on their second kid. That's wrong.
Right.
On their second child.
In 11th, 5th, yeah.
You know?
Now, I know you said you teach high school. What area of
Downtown Atlanta.
I mean the science, math, English.
English.
Oh, you teach English. In the curriculum, have you seen them dealing with the subject matter of John has two moms, or Peter has that type? So it's not in the literature.
No.
Okay, then that's good. But this is high school because they're trying to introduce this in the 2nd and 3rd grade in some parts of the country.
It's a K through, I think, 6th school for homosexual students in Atlanta.
Really, in Atlanta? Wow. Did you know that there's a K through 6 elementary school for only homosexuals in Atlanta? I didn't know that. I think they had something like that in New York for a minute. A high school? I don't know if it's still in existence.
What's your name, Queen?
Nikki Franklin.
Excuse me?
Nikki Franklin.
Nikki Franklin. Thank you for your time, sister.
No
Yes.
problem.
Thank you, Queen.
And you're just visiting?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
On that lecture, right, there's a phone number and there's a website that you can go to.
Okay.
The phone number is my number. The website, you can actually watch this. It'll be broadcasted.
And I would absolutely love for you guys, if possible, to actually come to the school.
Yeah, if you text
Might be doable.
If you text your information to that number, I'll get it. Because I am coming to Atlanta, and I'll definitely come down there.
Yeah, because we just got a new principal. He's from New York, and he's in close.
So, brother, better be a brother up in here.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And I'm gonna take your contact info if that's okay. And all right, I'm ready.
405.
Access Premium. Okay. 04.
So, we're going to continue this conversation with my brother, Captain Tazariak. And my brother, you got a very important and powerful lecture coming up, and it's called The Miseducation of the Black Woman.
Right.
March 19th, family. This is going to be at the Nicholas Bookstore. We all know where that's at. That's on 1396 Fulton Street. If you have any problem in getting there, you can contact 646-481-6315. See, I had problems with my eyes, so that's, I got to take my glasses off. Let me say that again. 646-481-6315. If you have any questions, you can call this number and get more info. Now, my brother, this is a very timely and important lecture you got coming up. This is a PowerPoint.
Yeah, this would be a PowerPoint.
Now we know you said the miseducation of the black woman. Would you also touch on the miseducation of the black man as well? But in particular, we know that this is about the black woman. But would you also touch on the black man? Because, when the sisters see that, they automatically say, oh, what do you mean? It's the brothers too, and they start going back and forth.
Right.
Oh, the brothers ain't taking care of their family. The brothers this. So would you at least touch on the miseducation of the brothers as well?
Well, what I want to say, I watched a video. One of the sisters I absolutely love is Shahrazad Ali. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with her. Shahrazad Ali made a statement where she said that they had an issue with her book. She had wrote a book. And
Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
Right. And the reason why they had a problem with her book and what she said is that the black woman has been sheltered, right? But the shelter that she's been sheltered with has been to her detriment, not to her help. And what that shelter has been is, anytime you talk about the black woman, because she's so sensitive about it, you got to automatically include the black man, or got to automatically include other things. So will I talk about the black man? I talk about the entire black household. But the primary focus of this is that shelter that black woman has been encased with has actually been around her to further destroy her, separate her from her protector, separate her from her family, and it played a role into why this black household is destroyed. That's the miseducation. The re-education that has to come in is, okay, if we can recognize what happened to the black man and then work on things to fix that, we have to recognize what happened to the black woman, because it ain't her fault. Like when we go out there and talk about the black man, we talk about all the atrocities that have been used to attack him, because it's not his fault. Now, when we saying not his fault, the plan that's been used against him is not his fault. Our succumbing to it is our fault, because we have to overcome it. So it's the same thing with the black woman. It's not her fault. It's not her fault in the plan that's been used against her. It's only her fault in succumbing to it. And we have to recognize that fault if we're going to fix it. So when you think about from the time of slavery, because it'll be a timeline. So if you think of the time of slavery, when that black woman saw her strong husband get beat, or her husband get taken away from her after she had their children, she would think survival. She would think, how could I not die? How can my kids not die? She would think what's the best survival tactic at that time. When you start fast forwarding and you start thinking about all the liberation movements, so to speak, if you start from your Marcus Garveys, if you start from the civil rights movement. Now, I'm not saying I agree with all of these, but all of these things, was on the premise of about the black family. The final one you would kind of say before IUBK came in '69, but the Panthers started coming up, and so when they would start seeing these black men, strong black men, taking these women and trying to give them roles that would help them solidify in the achievement, the ultimate achievement of the black household becoming one again, there became a movement that came about that said, we're going to destroy that. One second now. There became a movement about that said, we're going to destroy that. Don't do it while I'm doing interviews next time. They said we wouldn't do that. We're going to destroy that. One of those methods was the feminist movement, which I brought out earlier in the interview with Gloria Steinem. Now, what did that do from the 70s? What they would do is they would say, black woman, we'll support you, but you can't have that man with you. And then if you can't have that man with you, what happens to the kids? As you're trying to raise them kids without that father in the household. Because even with me, whenever I would cut up, my father was a junkie, so it's a little different. So my father was in and out. But when I used to cut up bad enough, my mother would find my father wherever he was at, and when he would come, and whatever I was doing would just stop. Because a disciplinarian was in the house. Even my father in that low state, and that's what I love the most about my mother. My mother recognized that it takes a man to give that type of authority. And that's what we have to realize. Okay, no, stop. Okay, I'm sorry.
We want to bring the sister on, and
okay, come on,
but before she come on, let me say this. I want to first say this, brother. Look the camera in the eye.
Okay.
I want to say that I am proud of you, brother, because I see that you are starting and beginning to read other books besides the Bible. You talked about Shahrazad Ali book over there when we was talking about to another sister. You talked about another book. It's good that you are beginning to expand your knowledge, and you know that in order to know certain things that you got to sometime go outside the Bible, pick up another book and read it, brother. So that's good. And I don't need no response. Thank you. Come on in, Queen. I don't need no response because I know you're going to.
That was the setup.
It's good. Okay, sis. What we're doing is a lecture on the miseducation of the black woman. Just doing a historical timeline showing how what she's been taught to educate her has actually destroyed her. And we got to reevaluate her so that we can fix the black household. Like we always dealing with the men and what we have to do, which we do have to do some stuff. But that protection that's been placed around the black woman where she can't do no wrong, we have to tear that down because it'll help her in the long run. So one of the things we were talking about was the feminist movement. Are you familiar with the feminist movement?
Very much so.
Okay, so what's your take on the feminist movement?
Which feminist movement? Are we talking about the feminist movement that's spearheaded by white women that does not include black women until they need us? Or are we talking about the feminist movement that black women spearhead and have been working on for years?
Both of them.
Well, of course, the first one I have issues with because, again, you have these white women who are claiming to have all of womankind best interests at heart, when in reality they're trying to further their agenda and they'll bring us along as long as we're willing to help them.
Right.
But we're doing all the work.
Absolutely, like a mule.
Exactly. Black woman is the mule of the world, or Neil Hurston said that.
Right.
So, as far as what we as black women have been trying to do for years, I'm very much in support of that. I don't always agree with all of the methods that they use, but I mean, that's with any movement. You're not going to agree with everything. But the fact remains that I know that we have our best interests at heart.
Okay, when you say, two questions. When you say we have our best interests, who does that include?
We, meaning black women and those black men that support us in our movement.
Okay. Then my second question would be, do you think that that's helped the black household or has it hurt the black household?
Well, that depends on how you look at the situation, because there are tons of reasons why the black household is fractured.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can go back, centuries.
Absolutely.
And talk about the root causes of the fracture between the household, but there's more to that dynamic now, especially in contemporary society, because there are things that we are doing as a people that are continuing to fracture the household, and the women are not blameless, but neither are the men.
Absolutely. That's why I said Do you think it hurt the black household or helped the black household? And like you said, this is not the only thing that has hurt the black household.
No, it
If we was to start, like I have an image that I'm going to put on my lecture where you're going to have the black woman on one side, the black man on the other side yelling at each other, and then in the middle there's going to be a barrier. In the middle of that barrier would be white supremacy, it'll be slavery, it'll be all of the things that have been used to just keep us divided. And the reason why I asked you the other question about has the feminist movement helped or hurt, because anything, just to me, anything that isolates the black man from the black woman does not benefit either. Now, do we need an understanding of both sides? Absolutely, which is why I'm doing this lecture. The whole reason why I'm doing this lecture is so that black women can see that they don't have to live the lie no more, that they have to be feminists or that they have to be separate from the black man. Same thing with the black man. We do these similar type of lectures with the black man as well, where they don't have to feel that the black woman has to be separate. Because no culture on the face of the planet, no race of people on the face of the planet divide the male and female from each other. They unite the male and female with each other. So that's what we have to do, and that's why we do these type of speakings and this type of lectures, so that we can take that feminist movement and blow it up with a grenade. And in the aftermath of that,
I don't think the feminist movement needs to be blown up with a grenade, because that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Because there are definitely some good aspects to it. Because feminism is not about promoting women or saying that women are somehow better or that women don't need men. It's about fighting for the rights of women as humans. Because if you look at the political climate we're living in right now, there is clearly a war on women, along with a war on Muslims, a war on black folks, and a war on immigrants. They're taking away reproductive rights. They're taking away women's rights to choose. So feminism addresses those things head on. So no, I'm not with getting rid of feminism completely until we see everybody coming together to help us in those types of fights.
Feminist is a cloud. And what I mean by that is, you said that in the political arena, right? Mm-hmm. When we take feminism and you take this political climate that we're in, more women voted for Trump than they voted for the other one.
White women.
That's my point.
Yeah, white women.
But that's,
when I'm speaking of feminism, I'm not talking about white feminism, because I'm not a white woman.
Birth from.
No, that's the feminist movement that had gotten all the press, that had gotten all of the publicity. Oh, that's absolutely
not true. Because before the feminist movement came about, there was no need for black women to have a feminist movement.
There has always been a need for black women to have a feminist movement.
Can I add? Now, the term feminist, now I think I get what you mean. To be honest, women have been under attack every era, every time.
Nobody's denying that.
Right. So,
but my concern ain't women. My concern is only black women.
Which I get, and I totally respect that. So the point is, women have always tried to join forces in some way. It did take shape under the name of feminism, but it has always been around. I think it's the point.
And that's the point that I'm making.
And you see how you're focusing on black women, right? You should. What I do is I focus on black men and black women, and I like to get to the root. The reason why I said the feminist movement was birthed with the white women, because that has been a tactic since we've been in America to keep us divided from each other. That's why thank you. That's why I said it needs to blow up with a grenade. You said don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying every idea. Like, if I was to come from a biblical perspective, Christ said no man put new wine into old bottles. You must put new wine into new bottles. Now, that don't mean when you pour that new wine in there that you're not going to take what you may have learned from before and use it. But what you're doing is starting from the ground up to resurrect something. So now we have to start from the ground up to resurrect that black household. So we have to now take that black woman, take that black man, look at all the things that have not worked, look at who we joined ourselves to, and I'm not saying you. Every time I'm speaking, it's always in general, not you directly. Look at what things did work, look at what things did not work, get rid of the white man from out of our mindset of thinking we need him, and stick with each other. That's what I mean when I say we got to blow it up.
Okay,
all right.
I'll give you that.
No sweat, I appreciate it, sis. Thank you. That flyer, make sure you are you from New York?
No. I'm
Where
from
you
Newark, New Jersey originally.
I'm from West Orange. Well, I'm from Jersey City. I live in West Orange. Yeah.
I live in
Small world, small world.
Well, we got an election in Philly too, March
Really?
the 5th.
Okay.
If you go on that website, isubk.com on there, you'll see the address. I forget the exact location, but
Okay.
it's next Sunday.
All right.
All right, sis?
Okay.
All right, and there's a phone number. If you got any questions,
All
you
right.
call that number.
Okay.
And your points were so insightful. Thank you for taking the time to stop.
Very welcome.
You're welcome to. Thank you, sis. Okay.
No, that was cool.
Yeah, and we're doing good. We're doing good.
Okay,
so
next one.
now a point that I wanted to add that I'm hoping you're going to cover. One of the kind of survival mechanisms that often women take on in their seeking to survive this system and for their children to survive. And I'm specifically speaking to what they do to a lot of their sons. A lot of times our women will, if they see their sons, young men are going to buck. They're going to be testing the boundaries. And they know that might not be well received in a larger society.
Right.
So she will do her part, unfortunately, try to break his spirit before he even gets out there to make him more docile and more humble. Will you be addressing issues like that?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, that goes back to slavery. That's why one of the first things I said, when the black woman saw her man beat, saw her husband taken away from her, and now she's left with the kids, all she thinks is survival. So in her mind, she don't even think that she really making him weak. She thinking she's helping him survive like she has survived. Now, what's the common denominator of why she even has to do that? She's been taught to get the black man out the house. Like Shahrazad Ali said something else. She said, the government will come to that black woman and say, we'll give you government assistance, but you got to get the black man out the house. But they'll go to the white woman farmer and tell her she'll get assistance, but the white man don't have to get out the house. To keep that right. They'll keep that white family together, but keep the black family separated. You understand? So that's why I said this lecture is not about pissing on black women. It's not. This lecture is about giving women education that you don't have to call yourself independent anymore. The worst thing in the world is for a black woman to call herself independent after she done let a man put babies in her. You're not independent no more. You don't let a man put babies in you, and now you're going to be independent, because when you say you're independent, not only are you separating yourself from the man that you let put babies in you, you're separating the babies from that man. And then it creates a trickle-down effect that may never be able to be recovered, because depending on how that man feels, he may never want to see them kids again. He may never want to see that woman again. He may beat that woman. He may beat them kids. She gonna put him on child support, and then the only one that actually is victorious in that paradigm is the white man that put it in there in the first place. The white man is the goddamn devil. Feminist movement is the goddamn devil. That crack epidemic is the goddamn devil. And these lessons that we get should teach us a lot. That girl Gloria Steinem that did that feminist movement, and then you take Ronald Reagan with the crack epidemic. What did they do? The crack epidemic, Ronald Reagan, at the same time as he's helping the CIA bring the drugs in, he had a war on drugs.
Right, exactly.
And then we found out later, Gloria Steinem, in one breath saying we trying to free black women, free the feminist movement, but she's writing books, having a black woman take the fault for it, about hating black women that actually stood with black men. And so when you look at our media culture for black women, it's about being independent, it's about being separate. You don't see songs like, I remember in the 80s when I came up, the girl Sybil had that song, I'm Independent, with Salt and Pepper. You understand? Yeah, Beyonce with the Independent. I don't need no man, but you need a man when you want some ride or babies or something like that, making us like sperm donors. When that's not the role that we were supposed to play. And what every black woman needs to learn is when them white women put Donald Trump in office, what they said is that they want, power wasn't as important to them. Well, this is what I mean.
Well, power with a white woman's face on it wasn't as important.
No, this is what I mean. The white woman understands that she does want the same type of job, that she does want to be respected. But she knows without the white man's protection, she'll be destroyed. So as much feminists as they wanted, when they had a chance to put that white woman in office and let feminine power stand, they said that's not going to protect us from the enemy. What's going to protect us from the enemy is this vulgar ass devil, white boy, that I'm going to put. Just remember, Trump said grab him by the pussy. Ain't that what he said? And got 54% of white women's vote, which says that white woman said, yeah, he said grab him by the pussy. He said all kind of vulgar things, but he'll protect me from the Arabs, from Africans, from Chinese, from Japanese. So I'll take that.
Okay,
I'll take that. Now, black women would rather have power instead of protection.
That's where they have it set up.
Thank you. But that's my point. I'm gonna give it to you in 1 second. That's my point. Black women that have been taught that they should have power instead of protection. When a black woman is the most powerful thing on the face of the planet, there ain't nothing more powerful than a black woman. The problem is,
Say that, brother. To let people know that, man, y'all not against no black
man, we ain't no against no black woman. Like, she's the most powerful thing on the planet. Now, there is nothing that I wouldn't do for a black woman that's in her right state. And what this lecture is about, putting her in that right state. If she want to be treated the best, she should get properly educated, and she'll see that playing her role with that man is the best thing that she could do, because it ain't been nothing but friction. Since she wanted to be independent, it's been nothing but friction between the two of us.
Now hold on, I have a quick question for him.
Go ahead, brother.
Now I hope
Been the most high. I'm sorry. Of course, let me just clear that up. When I say the most powerful thing on the planet, I'm talking about not above the most high. The most high is the most powerful. Don't sweat.
Now I hope you don't mind me.
Clear it up for them out there.
I hope
Right.
I hope you don't mind me testing your theory on live TV right now, even though we're not live. Now, okay, I totally get the Donald Trump and the Hillary Clinton, but now, so are you saying that theory holds? Because remember, she was denied twice. Barack Obama defeated her. Now, this is not the white man, this is the black man. So using your theory, so you're saying white women mentalize that, wow, I'll be more protected under a black man's presidency than putting this white woman in to follow your logic?
I would have to look up the numbers to see how many white women voted for Barack Obama. But here's what I will say is that America did not want to see a black face. So the better question would have been is, America just got finished with the black face, they didn't want a white woman. You'd have had that as a better argument. Because I would have to see the numbers for Barack Obama defeating her. But as far as the women.
Right, but they should have come, and we'll check it, but if they're less than 75% for their white woman against a black man, wouldn't that turn your theory on its head?
No, it wouldn't, because Barack Obama was charismatic. Barack Obama was, I hate Barack Obama personally.
So, but charisma trumps their need for power. You just said.
Look at the type of man Trump was.
Okay.
This is a man that said grab him by the pussy, and still got the white woman's vote. Barack Obama didn't say grab white women. He didn't say grab nobody by nothing. Barack Obama, if anything, Barack Obama was for homo. And here's another thing too. Barack Obama was for gays, which also plays a part into why he would get their vote. Trump is against gays, against abortion, said grab him by the box, and still got 54% of the white woman's voice. That's how it crushes it.
Okay. Could you find yourself following a woman, especially if she was more qualified than you,
Don't put him on the spot like
to
that.
teach?
Don't put him on the spot.
Can you find yourself to follow a sister?
And I know he's going to say yes. I'm going to predict that.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
The only thing that a black woman cannot do over me is teach this Bible, right? Here's what I mean by that. Let's say if a woman is a doctor, I'm not skilled at that. So would I have to listen to her when she give me that information? I absolutely would have to listen to her. Let's say if she's a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer. I would have to listen to the information that she has to give to me. Spirituality and knowledge are two different things.
So here we go. General Yohana is more knowledgeable when it comes to the Bible, correct?
Absolutely, the most knowledgeable.
Is it possible that a black woman can also be more knowledgeable in the Bible than you are? If she's been studying her whole life, is it possible?
Ezekiel 34:31 says, the flock of my pasture are men. That is, let me finish.
I said, is it possible, brother, for a black woman to have more knowledge than you and when it comes to the scriptures?
No.
So
That's not the gift.
Okay, But
that's why I'm giving you the scripture.
all right.
The flock of my,
Okay.
okay. That's why Ezekiel 34 and 31 says the flock of my pasture are men. When you go throughout the Bible, when the Lord, there are one or two occasions where he did use a woman. And that woman, in the knowledge that she got, you know what she did? You take Deborah, for example. Deborah was spoken to by the Most High. She didn't go and do it by herself. You know what she went and got? Barak. She went right to a man, gave him the message that the Lord gave her, and then Barak took charge and did it from there. That's the greatest gift that a black woman has. Understanding that in that realm of the spirituality, of being a leader spiritually, that belongs to the man. Even if the Lord speaks to a woman, the Lord can speak to a woman just like he speaks to a man. A woman in her right spirit will go give it to that prophet that she knows was ordained by the Most High.
Now,
that's not making her less, though.
Okay, that's not
still
making her less.
powerful.
So, I mean, you know, the time I've known you and I've listened to you, definitely very rational, very logical, even scientific brother. So now, I don't think I'm hearing that you're stating that gender, a person's gender, would somehow limit their intellectual capacity to understand what is written in the Bible?
No.
So they can understand it, but because again of their gender, they can never excel spiritually to the same level because
that they would have, the role that a black man would have spiritually will always be greater than the role that a black woman would have spiritually. Only in that sense. Because if they were on the same level, there would be a female Moses, for example, or there would be a female Elijah, for example. But that's just not the case in that realm.
Because it
that's
hasn't
all.
been. Because it hasn't been. That means
because it's never
be.
been. That's bro.
That
The scriptures say the flock of my pastor are men. Meaning, when the Lord delivers a people or delivers that message or sets up leadership, he gives it to the man, because the man is not as emotional or erratical as the woman in that category. But like I said, in any other realm, that's why I brought up different professions. Yeah, that's why I brought up different professions, like a doctor, lawyer, teacher.
But you do agree there's no science that sanctions that. This is just divinely ordained, that God has a preference of men. It's not scientifically.
As far as being leaders of Israel,
yes,
blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, his preference is men. That's correct.
God's preference, but it's
that's
no
right.
scientific grounding that women cannot intelligently.
I mean, science is guess. I ain't got to guess this, I know. Science is a guess, man.
Which means to know, brother.
To know what? That's why science changes every 10, 15, every decade.
Come from the root word, which means to know. This is why we say we don't believe in anything. It's either you know it or you don't know
What
it.
they know in 2017, they knew in 1997?
No.
With the same science? Meaning they had to learn some more shit, right?
You know why?
Hold on, wait. They mean they had to learn some more shit.
I'm going to answer you, but you know why? Because knowledge is ongoing. Knowledge is always moving forward, brother. Knowledge is always evolving.
With the Bible, what they knew 5,000 years ago, we know today.
No, that's not
The
true.
white man is the devil. Hold on, I'm about to tell you. The white man is the devil, and the white man has divided black people.
Let me tell you why that's not true, because...
Let me finish. That's happened since the garden. When that serpent came and spoke to that black woman, he told her what? You'll be a god.
Right.
And she decided being a god and being in power was greater than listening to her husband, and then went and seduced her husband into doing the same exact thing, and we've been fucked up ever since.
Okay.
So that
How long you been a Hebrew, my brother?
Since 2009.
How long you been reading the Bible?
My whole life.
In 2009.
But at least 15
In
years.
2009, when you was reading the Bible, this is 2017. Right. Don't you get something different from the scriptures when you read it now and you say, well, damn, you know what? I get something totally different, because your knowledge, your mind is expanding. It's always something you know. Like if I was to read a book, you ain't gonna get the same interpretation if you read it now from 5 years ago, because now your mind has grown, your knowledge have elevated. So you say, well, damn, now I see something greater now. Am I right or wrong? Don't you see something different now? If you was to read the scriptures today than you did on 09?
That has to do with the teachers. The teacher, Commander General Hanna, teaching me, I didn't need nothing else. So I learned from teachers prior to Jenny Hanna was like a pastor. And pastors ain't in the business of teaching the Bible correctly. So that's the difference between science and the Bible. So Commander Jenny Hanna, which he learned from his teachers. And so as you learn it from proper and correct teachers, you'll get the correct and proper understanding. Can you be misunderstood about anything? Absolutely. But it all depends on where you got that information from. Which is why when you go with the science, when you get that science from these scientists, they don't know themselves. So they get new information and then come and give you something new. With information that we're given in 1969 when UPK was established and we got that information, we ain't changed it. It's been the same.
Once again, March 19th, we got Captain Tazariak in the building. The topic is the miseducation of the black woman. This is going to be at Nicholas Place in Brooklyn, going down 1396 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York. Family, if y'all need any questions on it, 646-481-6315.
And again, Nicholas Bookstore tickets are available there for sale, so you can go to any one of the Nicholas.
On Eventbrite, you can go on my Facebook page, Tazariak Howard. You go to eventbrite.com. You can actually purchase the tickets there. We also online. If you go to debatetalklive.com, you can actually purchase it to be live streamed also.
Exactly. Get your tickets early. Events like this tend to sell out, and you want to get a good seat right up front. And also, if you want this subject matter dealt with, we need your support. You got to come out. Fill the place, bring your daughters, bring your sisters, call all the women you know. This is going to be a topic that we've been overdue in dealing with, and these are the brothers in our community that's going to bring their heartfelt message to all of us. So come out and support.
Brother, I just seen you on YouTube, and I seen y'all brothers slaughtering the lamb. Y'all was at the lamb farm or something like that?
Yeah, we was at a farm in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the brothers was at a farm in Pennsylvania. My brother sent me a video and said, Sarnetta, throw this up. So I look at the video, and I see them carrying the lamb.
He got scared.
And sacrificing the lamb. I said, man, I'm not throwing that up on my channel. Our people don't want to see that. You know?
But we would take it, we would drain it, and then we would eat the lamb. We would do that. That was our normal way of living, to do it like that.
Are you a hunter?
I will be though. That was the first time. That was the first time for me that I actually slaughtered an animal like that. So I was able to cut the blood, drain it out. I got lamb in my house right now. Rib, cook it up, whatever, and eat it. So it was pretty good. But it was just something for us to do and for the people in Israel to see. Like every Israelite will understand what we did with that event.
Exactly.
You understand? It's just for everybody to see this is our real culture like that. And anybody got a problem with it, use a faggot, because how you eat a hamburger in your house. Where do you think that burger came from? You eat lamb chops, curry chicken. Where do you think it came from? Somebody had to cut it, slaughter it, skin it. That's all.
Now, and the question, is that open to the public, that Passover, or is the community?
Passover.
Okay.
Passover be awesome.
Passover is open to any black, Hispanic, or Native Indian.
That's powerful.
Not the white people, Arabs, African, none of them.
Okay, do they RSVP? They just show up? How do they?
You just show up. Now bring a donation. Now.
Bring a donation. Okay, cool. Bring a donation.
Yeah.
Is there a suggested donation? What, 10, 20?
Shut the fuck up.
Is there a suggested donation? 10, 20, 30?
Well, everybody that comes to the Passover usually brings a $100 donation.
Okay, $100 donation.